Have you ever wondered why the middle class often stays stuck in the same place financially, while others seem to keep growing? The real problem usually isn't how much you earn, it's what you spend. In this video, I'll show you 10 common purchases that are quietly making people poorer. These things might seem small or harmless, but over time, they can seriously damage your finances. Warren Buffett once said that building wealth comes down to the financial choices you make every day, especially avoiding these types of spending habits. They're sneaky, easy to overlook, and surprisingly harmful. The good news? You can start cutting them out right now. Each item on this list does more damage than you might think, and the last one is the most dangerous. It could be hurting your financial future right now without you even noticing. So stick around until the end, because that final tip could completely change the way you handle your money. Now, let's jump into the first item, a simple purchase that might be slowly draining thousands of dollars from your pocket. 1. Endless home improvements. How many times have you looked around your house and thought, I just need to fix this one thing and it'll be perfect? It feels harmless, right? But this mindset can turn into a financial trap. Small renovations and decor updates often become a cycle of spending that quietly drains your bank account. Take kitchen renovations, for example. They can cost thousands and often add little real value to your home. Many of these changes are purely cosmetic, and worse, they're sometimes financed with debt that lingers for years. No one's saying you should live in a rundown home, but before you spend, ask yourself, is this fixing a real problem or just for looks? If it's just aesthetic, it might be smarter to wait. Set a budget for improvements to stay in control. And think about this, what if that money went towards something more meaningful? Instead of upgrading your flooring, you could invest it or use it for a vacation. These choices bring you closer to financial freedom. And surprisingly, many upgrades aren't even for you, they're to impress others. Speaking of spending to keep up appearances, the next item is even more common and one of the biggest traps for the middle class. But before we move on, I'd love to hear from you. Do you avoid buying certain things to save money? Share it in the comments, your tip could inspire someone else to make a smarter move. 2. Maintaining status. Have you ever bought something just to impress someone? Brand name clothes, expensive watches, or luxury accessories? Be honest, we've all fallen into this trap at some point. The real problem begins when it becomes a habit. That's when you start trading your financial future for things that don't bring lasting value to your life. Think about it, that $1,000 designer bag or $500 watch might feel like a smart style choice, but in reality, they don't pay your bills, increase your savings, or provide long-term security. Most of the time, these items lose their value quickly and only serve to create the illusion of status. And what do you really gain? A brief moment of approval from others. Want a tip that could shift your thinking? Before you splurge on a luxury item, ask yourself, am I buying this for me, or to impress someone else? If it's the latter, maybe it's time to rethink. Imagine putting that $1,000 into an investment earning just 8% annually. In 10 years, it could grow to over $2,000. That's real value. This doesn't mean you can't enjoy nice things, but make sure they're worth it to you. Choose timeless, versatile, and practical items that serve a purpose beyond status. Spend because it aligns with your goals, not to keep up appearances. And if you think spending to impress others is bad, wait until you hear about the next item. It doesn't just cost you money, it actually starts losing value the moment you buy it. 3. New cars. Who hasn't dreamed of driving a brand new car and enjoying that fresh off the lot smell? It's a great feeling, but here's the truth most people ignore. The moment you drive that car off the lot, it can lose up to 30% of its value. And you're the one paying for that drop. For many in the middle class, buying a new car feels like success, but financially, it's often a poor choice. It's not just the price, you're also hit with depreciation, interest on loans, higher insurance, and ongoing payments. And all of this for something that only loses value. A smarter option is to buy a reliable used car, 2 to 3 years old. Brands like Toyota or Honda hold up well and have already taken the biggest depreciation hit. Pay as much upfront as possible to avoid interest and keep your budget in check. Instead of spending $48,000 on a new car, which might be worth only $24,000 in 5 years, imagine investing that money instead. With compound growth, it could become over $100,000 in 10 years. That's the kind of move that builds financial freedom. Plus, new cars often bring the pressure to keep up with the latest gadgets, another costly trap we'll talk about next. 4. Cutting-edge technology. Do you really need the newest phone, the latest laptop, or the most advanced noise-canceling headphones? Technology changes fast, and it's easy to feel like you need to keep up, but doing so can cost you a lot of money. Most of the time, these upgrades don't make a big difference in your daily life. A new iPhone can cost around $1,200, and if you upgrade every year, you could spend over $12,000 in a decade. Even worse, most upgrades are small, maybe a slightly better camera or a feature you'll barely use. This kind of spending often comes from impulse or fear of missing out. To avoid falling into this trap, use a simple rule: only upgrade your tech when your current device no longer meets your needs. If your phone still makes calls, goes online, and takes good photos, there's really no need to upgrade. And if you do need a replacement, think about buying a refurbished model or an older version. They usually work just fine and cost much less. Now imagine this: instead of spending money on a new gadget, you use that cash to build an emergency fund, start saving for retirement, or take a course to boost your income. Those choices will benefit you far more in the long run. But technology isn't the only thing that drains your money. Sometimes it's the experiences we enjoy, like vacations, that quietly push us into debt. Let's talk about how those well-deserved trips can end up costing more than you think. 5. Finance trips. Who doesn't love traveling, seeing new places, relaxing, and making amazing memories? It's one of life's greatest pleasures. But you know what's not so great? Coming home to a pile of debt that lasts longer than the memories. Financing vacations might feel like an easy fix, but it's actually a trap that steals your financial peace. For example, a $5,000 trip financed at 20% interest could end up costing more than $6,000. Now imagine doing that every year. That kind of debt adds up fast and turns a relaxing getaway into months, or even years, of financial stress. So what's the smarter way? Plan ahead. Start a travel fund and put a little money into it each month. Look for discounts, use miles, and choose budget-friendly stays to cut costs. And the golden rule: never take a trip unless you can pay for it up front. That way, when you return home, you won't have any bills waiting for you, just good memories and peace of mind. Traveling doesn't have to mean going into debt. With a little discipline, you can enjoy your vacations and stay financially healthy. Now, speaking of things that quietly drain your wallet, let's talk about your closet, because many of us are spending money on clothes and accessories we barely even wear. 6. Rarely worn clothes and accessories. How many times have you opened your closet and found clothes or accessories that still have the tags on? Probably more than you'd like to admit. Buying expensive outfits for special occasions and only wearing them once is a quiet way to waste money without even realizing it. Think about it: a $300 suit for a wedding or a $200 dress for an event might seem fine at the time, but if you do this several times a year, those costs can add up to thousands over 5 years. And most of those clothes end up forgotten in your closet, while that money could have been used for something much more valuable. So how can you avoid this? Start by buying timeless, versatile pieces that work for multiple events. A simple, classic dress or a neutral suit never goes out of style and can be mixed and matched easily. For one-time occasions, consider renting clothes or borrowing from a friend. It saves money and still looks great. Another smart move is to go through your wardrobe often, get creative with what you already own, and make new combinations. Many times, you don't need to buy something new, you just need a fresh idea. And before every purchase, ask yourself: do I really need this, or am I buying it on impulse? That one question can help you avoid a lot of wasted spending. Now, if you think spending on clothes is bad, wait until you see how much people spend on big parties and celebrations just to impress others. That's the next big financial trap we'll talk about. 7. Expensive parties and celebrations. Who doesn't love celebrating special moments like weddings, birthdays, or graduation parties? These events are important, but do they really need to cost a fortune? The truth is, many people spend way more than they can afford to make everything look perfect, and without realizing it, they end up putting a lot of pressure on their finances. Let's look at the numbers. The average wedding in the US costs around $30,000. Now think about this. That same amount, if invested, could grow to over $150,000 in 20 years. But instead, it's spent on a party that lasts just one night, while the debt from it can take years to pay off, especially if it means sacrificing other important things. Don't get me wrong, celebrating is meaningful, but you can do it in a smarter way. Try cutting costs by picking a more affordable venue or keeping the guest list small and intimate. Often, a simple, heartfelt gathering is more memorable than an over-the-top event that breaks the bank. You can also add a personal touch and save money by doing some things yourself, like decorations or parts of the food. DIY elements can make your celebration feel more special and unique. Now, if spending big on one-time parties is already a problem, just wait until you hear about subscription services. These quiet monthly expenses seem harmless at first but can slowly drain your money without you even noticing, and that's exactly what we'll talk about next. 8. Unnecessary subscription plans. How many subscriptions are you paying for every month? Netflix, gym memberships, meditation apps, music services. The list can go on and on. But here's the real question, do you actually use all of them? If not, you might be wasting money without even noticing. The average American spends around $400 a year on subscriptions they rarely use, and over 10 years, that adds up to $4,000. What's worse is that many people keep getting charged simply because they forget to cancel after a free trial. It's like having a small leak in your finances that slowly drains your money. Want to fix it? Start by checking all your bills and listing every recurring charge. Then ask yourself, do I really use this, or is it just sitting there? If you don't use it, cancel it right away. Apps like Truebill or Rocket Money can help track and cancel unused subscriptions. And before signing up for anything new, take a moment to ask, will this really add value to my life, or is it just something I think I need? In many cases, a free option or a one-time purchase can do the job just as well, without adding to your monthly costs. Now, if you think wasting money on subscriptions is bad, just wait until you hear about the next trap, cheap products that break easily and cost you more in the long run. 9. Cheap purchases that don't last. Who hasn't been tempted by a great deal, a cheap piece of furniture, a discounted outfit, or a super affordable kitchen gadget? It feels good to think you're saving money, but here's the truth, buying low-quality products that don't last often ends up costing you more. For example, you buy a $50 chair that breaks after a year, so you replace it again and again. After 5 years, you've spent over $200 when you could have bought a sturdy $150 chair that would have lasted much longer. This same cycle happens with furniture, clothes, and appliances. The smart move is to invest in quality. Before buying, check reviews and look for brands known for durability. Also, consider the cost per use, divide the price by how long you expect to use it. Something that seems pricey at first might actually save you money in the long run. For example, solid wood furniture or good quality cotton clothes usually last much longer. Also, don't buy just because something is cheap. Always ask yourself, do I really need this? That simple question can stop you from wasting money on stuff you won't use. And when you do need something, wait for big sales like end-of-season clearances or Black Friday. Now, let's move to the last and most dangerous money trap, the one habit that quietly holds back many people from reaching true financial freedom. 10. Seasonal decorations. Decorating your home for Christmas, Halloween, or Thanksgiving is definitely fun, but what's not so fun is how much it can cost you over time. It often starts small, with a few ornaments here and there, but year after year, those seasonal buys can quietly drain your wallet. Spending just $200 a year on decorations might not seem like much, but over 10 years, that's $2,000, money that could have been invested and grown. Plus, many of those decorations end up forgotten in storage, broken, or out of style, forcing you to buy more again and again. The good news is, you don't need to stop enjoying the holidays to save money. Start by reusing what you already have and buy quality pieces that last longer. Stick to a classic look that doesn't go out of fashion and grab great deals by shopping after the holidays when items are heavily discounted. Also, consider keeping it simple. A clean, minimal style can still feel festive while saving you money and storage space. In the end, the real joy of the holidays comes from time spent with the people you care about, not from how many decorations you put up. If you found this video useful, be sure to like, subscribe and turn on notifications to not miss our future uploads. See you in the next video.